I want to reset here. You're watching NBC4 Sports Extra on the free NBC4 Columbus streaming channel. Ohio State falling to Indiana in a matchup of number 1 versus number 2. Let's take a look at some of the game notes here, because quite remarkable what Indiana was able to do. I believe this is the first Hoosiers victory over the Buckeyes since 1988.
That's right.
That's quite a long time. And this is the first conference championship for Indiana since 1967.
Well,
but that was a shared one.
They shared one. This is their first solo title in the Big Ten in 80 years.
Yeah, 1945.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I mean, to do that at Lucas Oil, I mean, it's almost like, I said this earlier in the week when we were talking about how the casual sports fan is viewing this game. They're seeing number 1 versus number 2. Ohio State is number 1, and you're kind of seeing the script. If Hollywood wrote this is a perfect opportunity for a Kurt Signetti and an Indiana team that's been trying to prove itself for the last 2 years since Signetti took over the program to really make a big statement. And boy, did they ever, because now Indiana basically assured of the number 1 seed in the college football playoff, which we will get to know who's in and who's out and where the teams are going in about 12 hours from now. Jerod, the impact that this game has on the playoff bracket that will be revealed in about 12 hours.
Significant in terms of not having the number 1 overall seed for Ohio State and not going to the Rose Bowl. Obviously, that's a huge opportunity. Any chance you get to go to Pasadena, you take it. However, they're in the field and they're going to get a first round bye, and they might be the number 2 seed. So how that works out, if they want to try to avoid an Ohio State Indiana rematch in a semifinal and they bracket it that way, so they make them 1 and 2, who knows? They might not. I don't know. Frankly, none of us have any idea what the committee's going to do. We all pretend that we know, but we really don't.
And we're talking about this as we're talking. Duke just beat UVA in the ACC championship game. There is a review that is pending, but Duke winning 27-20, which essentially throws a lot of relative chaos, into making this bracket, because UVA was essentially in a win-and-you're-in situation. But because now Duke has won the ACC title game, this is actually the worst-case scenario for that league. I don't want to deviate too much from the overall topic of what we're trying to do is to break down Ohio State and figure out what's in their future. But you're talking about this 12-team playoff, and all of a sudden with Duke winning over UVA, suddenly there's now an argument to put a group of 5 champion into the bracket over the ACC. And then you look at kind of the strength of all the teams that should be in that 12-team playoff. There's a lot of things that the committee has to think about. And honestly, it seems like Ohio State's going to be the least of their concerns.
Well, let's start with the top 4, all right? We think we're pretty clear on who the 4 buys are going to be. We're very clear on number 1. 2, 3, 4 are going to be Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech in some order. If I had to guess, I would say probably Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, and Texas Tech 4. If I had to guess, I could see them swapping 2 and 3, but that's probably going to be the order. So fair enough. After that, it gets really intriguing. Your home sites are probably Ole Miss at Oregon. Who else? I mean, there'll be some other, debate about who gets a home game in there, which SEC team is going to get a home game. But when you get to the end of the bracket, what this means with Duke winning is it means not only does a group of 5 team have a great chance to get in, 2 might.
Right.
With Tulane and James Madison, depending on where they're ranked and what they do with Duke now as an ACC champion. So it's a very complicated situation. The people who are nervous the most tonight are Alabama fans, Texas fans, Notre Dame fans, and Miami fans. As they kind of look at the bottom of that bracket. I don't know about Vanderbilt. Obviously they're a 2-loss team, but I'm not sure what the committee thinks.
There was an argument earlier today about the SEC having 7 teams in the 12-team
Well, their commissioner made that argument,
right?
So he was doing his job as a campaigner. But yeah, I mean, so anyway, if you look at the bracket, yes, long term, Ohio State has plenty of things to fix from tonight, but is it a killer in terms of their future in the playoff? It is not. Last year, what they ended up going through, having to play the number 1 seed in the quarterfinal round, they gave themselves the hardest route, but then they made that route work for them. they're fully capable of winning a national championship. I actually think tonight there's just as much evidence of that now as there was before the game, because now you have clarity on where your biggest issues are to fix. Hey, look, the defense gave up 13 points. 13.
I mean,
That's
it's still
good
one of the
enough.
strongest defenses in the country.
Right.
No question about it. I think we talked about the Heisman quarterback battle, Fernando Mendoza versus Julian Saint. It's kind of ironic because Julian actually threw for more yardage, but Fernando Mendoza made more plays and then made probably the most important play of the game. Actually, I thought was in the fourth quarter when they got that first down off of that huge throw that basically sealed it for Indiana and prevented Ohio State from really having one final drive.
Yeah.
He was able to make the big plays when it mattered the most. And not that Julian isn't capable of doing that, but this is, again, the kind of stage where you need to be able to show off that you can do that. And that's going to really weigh on the minds of a lot of Heisman voters moving forward. So
Can we just give some praise to Indiana?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Indiana, all right, Omar Cooper left the game early. Charlie Becker, who is, like a third, fourth receiver option for them, has more than 100 yards receiving, makes the giant catch at the end of the game. As what Ohio State did to Notre Dame last year in the national title game, that's what Indiana did to Ohio State tonight in this game. They hit them on third down, and they absolutely burned them with a guy who was not necessarily on the scouting report going into the game. The point I'm making there is Indiana is not a group of like 4 or 5 really good players and a bunch of random dudes. This is not only a quality team at the top, there's depth at Indiana. And that is what I'm getting at. That's why they beat Ohio State tonight. They had good second-team play. They had some rotation going on the offensive line, had some trouble, obviously, blocking Caden Curry early in the game. But Indiana found answers. And that is not something you would have said or would have expected about Indiana before this season. Just a remarkable – I can't praise Curt Cignetti enough. It's all a joke. The whole Google him, right? Google him, because he's for real.
Well, now when you Google him, you'll see a lot more evidence of why he's one of the best coaches in the country.
Without question.
You mentioned Caden Curry earlier. Let's actually hear from him. This was sound from earlier tonight, right after the game.
Go ahead. It's just a different experience for you, obviously, inside this stadium. What are the emotions like?
I mean, obviously sucks. I mean, thought we definitely had some issues out there, and they played a good football game, and we made mistakes. They didn't, and I mean, they came out with a win.
Is that the worst part of it, knowing that you guys normally play better than you did?
I mean, definitely sucks going out there and not playing to the hopes that you expect, and being at Ohio State, we expect it every day. But, I mean, we got to credit the team that beat us because they obviously exposed us where we had weak points that we didn't know about, and we just got to work on it and get better.
You mentioned mistakes and weak points. What specifically are you referring to?
I mean, there's nothing really that big. I mean, obviously, there's just little things throughout the game. I mean, obviously, there's points in the game where if it goes one other way, we have a different outcome. So, I mean, it's just all in all, it's a team sport. It's not just one person, so you can't single anybody out.
2 trips for the offense inside the red zone, or inside the 10, and they came up empty. What would you think of that?
I mean, like I said before, mistakes. I mean, we just shooting ourselves in the foot, and we know that we want to score there and we want to get points, and obviously the defense is going to respond however that outcome comes, and so, I mean, I'm not going to put that on them because we could have done more on defense too.
Caden, you come back to Indiana. Really, you made a statement. Right here.
Okay. That was Caden Curry, a local guy for Indiana. Grew up not too far from Lucas Oil Stadium.
Well, he played great.
Yeah, and obviously a disappointing result for him and the Buckeyes. Ooh, that was loud. Obviously, disappointing result for him and the Buckeyes. Let's talk about how Ohio State moves forward.
Okay.
Certainly, Ryan Day kind of channeling what he felt last year when Ohio State lost to Michigan, and hoping that this team can find it within themselves to stay motivated and take this loss and turn this into another run for the national championship. My thoughts are it's not quite the same. Obviously, you lose to Michigan. That has a lot of hurt. You lose to Indiana in what I thought was a well-played game for both teams. Certainly, there were mistakes on both sides. But this game, I can probably argue not as in terms of weight, doesn't weigh as much as, of course, the game. So I just wonder how much hurt it's going to cause them to really motivate them moving forward. But your thoughts as to how Ohio State now bounces back. They have, what, about 3, 4, the 7th of December. They'll likely play January 1st or
That's
December
right.
31st. So they have a solid 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would wager Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Probably, or I guess it technically could be Sugar Bowl. I guess what they would probably do is if you've got Georgia, Ohio State for those spots, put Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, Ohio State in the Orange Bowl, something like that. That's what I would guess. I could be wrong. My thought about what they need to do moving forward is purely about procedure, and I know they're going to address it heavily this week about, Brian Hartline had a very difficult week. He became a head coach for the first time. It's one of the greatest accomplishments of his professional life. He's now a head coach at South Florida. But he's also trying to be the offensive coordinator for a team competing for the national championship. And putting those two jobs on your plate at the same time is quite difficult. Tom Herman did it years ago when Ohio State was playing for the national title, when he was named the head coach at Houston, and trying to do both jobs at the same time. Obviously, that worked out for Ohio State. They had a really good team. This team is really good, but they've got to figure out that process of who's actually going to be in charge of play calling. If Ryan Day is going to try to seize more of that back because of the workload, if they're going to have to figure out a better process. Third downs were not good, especially early in this game. They didn't convert a third down to the second half, and it just didn't seem like they could win up front enough. They only ran the ball for, I think, 17 yards in the first half. And it just didn't click. They ran 22 plays in the first half. That's just not good offense. They just did not have any consistency, any flow to it. Not saying they're related. What I'm getting to is that in the next few weeks, I think what they will do is take stock of our process. How are we going to call plays? Who's going to be on the field? I think there's some really interesting plays when you get to the second half of that game. On 3rd and 1, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate both aren't on the field. There was the play on the long drive to get in position where they went for it on 4th down deep in IU territory and didn't get the first down. Where on the 3rd down play, it was a one-man route. It was just Jeremiah. He was double covered. He was covered underneath, and he was covered by D'Angelo Ponce there right on his jersey. So he had nowhere to throw the ball. So it was literally a one-option route. And that's really interesting to me. Why that would materialize on a 3rd and 1, knowing this is a defense that's not going to let you get anything cheap. I just think decision making. There was some interesting stuff in there. Well, that will be reviewed
at halftime. And I agree. Like, I think both coaches were kind of hesitant to really take some chances. And I don't know. When you have the Big Ten championship at stake, that's kind of one of those questions that we'll probably ask Ryan. A couple days after, or whenever his next media availability would be, if when he looks back on this game and the play calling, because you're right, you brought it up earlier, it gave some remnants of this. Felt like last year's Michigan loss. Why are we being hesitant? And I do wonder too how there was so much weight and emotion and relief from winning the game up in Ann Arbor. I just wonder how much you had left in you to go win a Big Ten championship, because as much as they were saying all the right things, you still have to prepare like you do every single week. And I just wonder if the motivation was really there. Not that they're not motivated. I'm not saying that, but it's just different. When you're approaching a game against Michigan versus the Big Ten championship, they're both big accomplishments, but when you're doing that back to back and you're coming off a win like you did over Michigan, you obviously it looked like Indiana was just hungrier to get this done, and I think that is what made quite the difference here.
Well, they had a bunch of things going for them, but the biggest thing they had going for them was they got a really good team, they got really good players, and they got favorable bounces. Look, at some point. What's weird about tonight? There was one holding call against Indiana, and the kid didn't even hold on that play.
They really let the players play.
On that one play that they called holding, it was the cheapest holding call, but they could have called holding 17 more times. And I'm sure Indiana has their gripes about holding. But yeah, it was one of those games where Indiana just had some things really go their way, and Ohio State had miscalculations. The missed field goal, obviously, it is what it is. Yeah. People leave Jaden Fielding alone. Don't show up at his house like people did last year. remind you, behave yourself. Don't be an idiot.
It's still, I mean, look, they still have so much to play for, and they can still repeat as national champions.
Look, I mean, two plays go differently, they win this game.
Oh, 100%.
It's just not that this is not a deplorable effort,
right?
That demands, we've got an investigation.
It's disappointing, yes.
Not like that. It's just It's a really good team that lost to a really good team.
Yeah,
and they will both move on and both have a chance to win the whole thing.
Jerod Smalley, I really appreciate the time. Thank you for your analysis. I'm going to let you go.
Thank you, bud.
And what we're going to do here on the NBC4 streaming channel, we're going to go back to Indianapolis. We're going to let you hear from Indiana and how they won this Big Ten championship game, because they have now approached the podium. Curt Cignetti at the podium right now, and then I'll be back with you to wrap things all up. So let's go back to Indy, and here's Curt Cignetti and the Hoosiers.
First, Coach. Yeah, great win, gutty game, hard-fought physical football game. Wasn't perfect by either team. We found a way to survive it, made the plays when we had to. And, I thought once again, when the game was on the line, Fernando was throwing dimes and Charlie Becker was showing up making big plays, and Surratt with a big touchdown. Our defense, just created a lot of issues. Ohio State did start to scratch our run game there in the second half and missed that field goal. Of course, we missed one too, so it's even. So it's a great win for us, obviously, our first Big Ten title. And now I got 3.5 weeks to kind of humble this team and get them ready for the playoffs.
We'll go here back corner. Please state your name and affiliation.
Sammy Jacobs of Hoosier Huddle. Coach, your defense had 8 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. What made them get after the quarterback? Stephen Daly had a big game, and Elijah Hardy had a big game as well, along with Aiden. But what made you guys so successful on defense?
Well, I mean, that's been who we've been all year, and really since 2019, I'm not going to lie to you. And, we've always been high in TFLs and sacks, and so we got a great effort from our front guys, and, we're down up those blitzes, got the quarterback off rhythm, let him out of the pocket a few times, which we can't do. But all in all, I thought we played pretty well.
Go right here.
Isaiah, you
name and affiliation.
Seth Tao with the Daily Hoosier. Isaiah, you were with this program for the previous regime. You've seen what this program was. You've seen what it's become. For somebody like you that's been along for that whole ride, what does this mean?
Isaiah?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. I know it means a lot to me. It means a lot to all the guys that maybe were holdovers. But it means a lot to the guys that came in, too. And, it's the coaches buying in. It's, they work all year long for us. And it's just the players buying into the strength staff, to the coaching scheme, and each other. We just want to play for each other and play our best.
Go here in the back.
Scott Docterman with The Athletic. This is for both Coach Cignetti and for Fernando. You've been in some really tight situations in the fourth quarter, and you've come through at Oregon, at Iowa, at Penn State. How did that help you prepare mentally for this kind of challenge here, because you had to come up with some big plays throughout the second half?
We'll go Coach first.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I think we probably all on the bench as that clock started to tick down into the fourth quarter and it was game on the line, probably at some point felt like, wow, we've been here and we've won, and they've never been here. And so I think there's no question about it. When you've been through something one time, you're a lot better a second time. It gives you a lot of belief and confidence.
Yeah, throughout spring ball and fall camp, we always practice a lot of 2-minute drills, a lot of 1-minute drills, and especially against such a great defense, it primed us for the season. So whenever we got in high adversity situations, we're always able to go out there and efficiently execute. And also just the glue that we have with our brotherhood, how much we care about the man beside us, really makes us unshakable. So whenever we're in any adversity, we're always there to stick by each other, not finger pointing. I think that's what elevates us to our competition and exceeds expectations in those high adversity moments.
Go here in the front.
For Curt and Isaiah, down here in the front here, you said earlier this week, Curt, that you guys weren't at Ohio State's level in terms of recruiting yet, but you feel like you're closing that gap, and a win this weekend could go a long way toward closing that gap. What can the future be? What can a win like this do for the future of your program?
Yeah, I didn't catch that whole question. I thought you were speaking to Isaiah.
I said for you and Isaiah, but okay. We'll start with you. You said this week that you guys aren't quite at Ohio State's level recruiting-wise yet, but you feel like you're closing that gap, and a win today could go a long way towards that. What can a win like this do for the future of your program, you think?
Well, I don't know. Time will tell. I mean, it's hard to speculate. I think it gives us a lot more. It was another step we needed to take as a program. It's a great win, obviously, and we're going to go in the playoffs as number 1 seed. And a lot of people probably thought that wasn't possible. But when you get the right people and you have a plan and they love one another and play for one another and they commit, anything's possible. And I think that's what you saw happen here.
Isaiah?
Yeah, I mean, this win, kind of shows like everybody why not? Why would you not want to come to Indiana? I mean, for any of the doubters out there, I think this kind of, was the final nail in the coffin. For any of the Indiana doubters, the Curt Cignetti doubters, the Hoosier doubters, I think, this was the last thing that needed to be proved, and I think we did it.
We'll go right here in the middle.
Lou Friedman from the Seymour Tribune. Elijah, what was your mood like when you had to sit out those couple of games? And as an aside, I see you got another restaurant you're endorsing with Mother Bears. You're going to upgrade now to fancier places?
This is for Elijah.
Yeah, being away from the game, I love the game. I've been playing it since I was 5, 6 years old. So just missing games, I hate it, of course. It sucks being out there and not being able to contribute with my guys. And Mother Bears, yeah, shout out Mother Bears. Best pizza in Bloomington. Y'all need to take a stop there. Get that sriracha special.
Right here in front.
Zach Osterman, Indianapolis Star. Fernando, you had, I think, something like 3 dozen family members out there, and including your mom and dad. Just what was it like to be able to share that with your family coming off the field?
I think what makes this moment so special to not just myself and my family, but for everybody is just the community of Bloomington and how long they've waited for this and how much it means to everybody. It means a ton to see all my family members travel out from Miami, not knowing what the outcome's going to be, especially in an adverse situation. And my mom coming from Miami, making the tough trip over here to Indianapolis, always battling, struggling to go see my games, and my love for her is unconditional. And I know a lot of our teammates had a ton of family members show out, and just Hoosier Nation showed out in general. And I think that really helped us down the stretch. Whenever it was a 3rd down, they got loud. Whenever it was a 4th down, they got loud. Or whenever we had a big play on offense, they really jolted that momentum forward. So seeing my family there means a ton to me, and it just shows the unconditional love that my mom and I have for each other. But also, it's just so great seeing Hoosier Nation, everybody else's family members out there supporting us.
Go right here.
Hi, I'm Camden Glover, and this with iUS TV, and this is for Fernando and Aiden. As Coach Cignetti emphasizes, everything is earned, not given. Nothing good in life comes easy. So with the record-breaking season leading up to this very moment and ultimately the win, how have you applied this message in your every practice, game, and play?
Let's go Aiden first.
For me personally, I've been with Coach Sig for a long time, and he's preached this for a long time. So for me, knowing how I could be the best version of myself as a player and a person, you have to apply that every day. You have to wake up with the mindset that you're going to give it your all in any aspect of your life to improve and make sure you're not staying complacent. And I think a lot of the guys and our teammates now have really bought into that, and that's why this team in adverse situations really rises to the occasion. We've put ourselves in very stressful situations and kind of the scenarios that have played out in these games, the final 2 minutes a lot of times in practice. So, Coach Say just does such a great job of bringing out the best of his players and obviously his coaches as well too. But, it's just we were just talking about it. There's something about Coach Sig that it just makes you want to play your heart out for him. And he does a great job getting the best out of everybody.
Same question for Fernando.
Yeah, I think it's about being process-oriented and never being complacent. For example, when we beat Purdue last week, 56-3, Coach Sig came in the locker room and said, "Hey, it's a great win. We're 12-0 for the first time in program history. However, there's going to be a lot of things on film that we got to clean up." And I think it reverts back to the Stoic philosophy of the never-ending journey of the process and not to be complacent. And I think what Aiden said was beautiful. Of you always want to push yourself every single day, every single play, and every single rep. Act like it's the final play of the game. Act like it's the most important play of the game, most important play of your life. And I think that has helped motivate us and propel us forward from games like Oregon, where, yeah, we won, but we weren't complacent. We still had a lot of cleanup on film, and the next week we try to get better every single week. And I think that our whole thing is not really competing against the opponent, which it is, but it's really competing against ourselves to be the best version of ourselves, and I think that's why we're so effective.
Right here in the middle.
Jim Coyle, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Kurt, what was going through your mind when you saw your quarterback go down at the start of the game and he did not seemed like he was going to get up, but he did, and obviously showed his toughness there, and which I'm sure he showed you guys throughout the season.
Well, I missed it. I saw I was looking at the coverage, and then somebody on the headset said Fernando's down, and I saw him rolling around on the ground, and I was like, oh boy. And then when I saw the replay before I got out to him, it looked to me like he had got hit, not in the head, but maybe had the wind knocked out of him, and that's what he confirmed. So, but he's a tough guy. He takes some shots, he extends plays, and it's can't say enough about the way he competes. He got the heart of a champion, and he played great tonight when we needed him.
Fernando, anything more on that play?
Yeah, although I got hit, I was never going to stay down, and that's one thing I know. One thing, and I say it, and I know it could be a little interpreted as a little cringy sometimes, but I will die for my brothers in that field. So no matter whether it's a gut punch, whether it's a head punch, whatever it is, I'm always going to get back up. And I knew there's 100% confidence that I was going to play that game, play the rest of the game, as we've worked so hard to get to this point that no hit, no knockout hit, or knockout punch could take me out of that game, because it's one thing about the Indiana Hoosiers football team is whenever they hit, we hit back harder.
Let's go back here.
Yeah, Kurt, Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. All the things that you accomplished tonight, whether it was the number one, getting into the playoff, the Heisman, doing it here in Indianapolis, how do you think you'll remember this night when your career's over?
That's for me. I think that there's so many special moments, and it's so great to be, prospectively, I assume the number one team in the nation. And I think it's just such a testament to everybody in the team. And, I don't want to go in depth of the Heisman, but I remember Coach Signetti brought me in after UCLA, and he told me, he was like, hey, the Heisman's a team game. It's a team award. It's not a player award. And if you win, then you can get nominated for it. And so hopefully, I would love the opportunity to get the invite to New York, which would be fantastic. But I think it's just really a testament to the team. And it's not a player award. It's a team award. And, and I think it just speaks a testament to how much that this team has had that never-ending process of learning and getting better, and that has culminated to this point.
We have two back here. Please state your name and affiliation.
My name is Andre. I'm from Lounge Sports Network. My question is for Coach Signetti. So right now, you find yourself winning your first Big Ten championship. You're 13-0 right now. You're kind of the same spot as Oregon was last year. What steps do you take to not end up the same way they did last year, not let your season end early?
Yeah, I mean, it's, two different teams, people. I mean, look, we get a bye. We're grateful to have a bye. We've accomplished a lot. You can't diminish what we've accomplished. And, when we go to the next round, it'll be hard because every team left's a great team. You got to play great football.
Same corner.
Bowden Jerome, also with Lounge Sports Network. Coach Signetti, with Duke beating Virginia tonight and opening the door to James Madison getting into the playoff, would you like to get the opportunity to play your former school?
So Duke beat Virginia, which did what?
Possibly opened up the opportunity for James Madison to be the 5th highest ranked conference champion and make their way into the playoff.
No, I mean, whoever we play, we play. I had 5 great years at James Madison. I loved the people. I worked for a great AD and a great president, and it was a hard decision to come. And the big reason I did was because I really felt strong about Scott and Pam Whitten, and that's in the past. So, I mean, whoever we play, we're going to have a plan. We're going to have to play well.
Go right here.
Matt Weaver with Indiana 247 Sports. This is for Aiden and Isaiah. They get the ball back late in the fourth quarter. You guys are up 13-10. They drive down the field, but you guys obviously hold them. They miss the field goal. I guess, Aiden, for you and Isaiah, I mean, you're the green dot guy. What was your message? What were you telling the guys? And then just finally that play by Relaja in the end zone to knock that ball away, one-on-one, man coverage. Just talk about that.
This is for Aiden. Isaiah? Okay.
Yeah, I would just say, I told the defense continuously throughout this game, once we got the lead in that fourth quarter, if they don't score, they don't win. And we knew it was going to be on us to, hold them, don't let them score. And then obviously that play by Relaja is just, he's a phenomenal player. He's taking steps every single week this year to get to where he's at now. He just played an amazing game. He's worked so hard to earn to be in that position, and he took advantage of the opportunity he got. So And I think I can say that about our whole defense tonight. Isaiah Jones played an amazing game. The entire defense. We knew it was going to come down to us, and as long as they didn't score, they didn't win. So we were confident in our abilities when it came down to it.
Let's take any questions that are outstanding for players. And we can take a few for Coach, but anything for the players? Right here in the front, behind you.
Yeah, for Aiden and Isaiah, obviously Jimmy Watkins, Cleveland.com, the possibility exists that you might have to see this team again down the road. What gives you guys confidence that this performance is repeatable against that offense?
Who's that addressed to?
For Aiden and Isaiah.
Okay, Aiden
Can't
first.
hear you.
Yeah, I'm just confident in what we do as a team and a defense. If that opportunity arises again, we're going to be ready. We're going to game plan. We're going to, strategize for it. Right now, I think the focus is going to be on us, watching the film, cleaning it up, and moving forward and, our improvements and how we can grow as a defense. But, if that opportunity arises, we'll be ready. We'll game plan it. I'll be confident in my guys to go out there and do it again.
Anything else for the athletes? We'll do.
Lou Friedman from Seymour. For Isaiah, I actually happened to meet your grandfather in the parking lot outside one of the games. How is he going to take tonight? I know he's a fan of yours more, but he said he was a Buckeyes fan for the last 25 years.
Yeah, I think my family's just proud of me and proud of the steps I've taken. Hopefully he has a safe drive home, I guess, but I think he'll be excited and happy for me.
Thanks, guys. Let you guys go. A couple more.
God bless.
Thank y'all.
Yep.
God bless.
Here in the front.
Oh, my goodness.
Careful, guys. Congrats. Name and affiliation. Yep.
Hey, Coach. Zach Browning, thehoosier.com. It's 3rd and 6, 2 minutes and 41 seconds to go. You elect to throw the ball, and Fernando completes 33 yards down the field to Charlie Becker. What went into that decision to throw the ball there?
They had, when we started the drive, they had time and timeouts. They had enough time with their timeouts for about 16 plays at the start of our drive. And then they used their timeouts. And, I wasn't going to play not to lose. We were playing to win. And the one thing, we do spend a lot of time on the clock. How many plays are left in the game, things of that nature. We've kind of figured we had to get about 3 first downs. That's what I told the team. So you got to get a first down. I wasn't going to punt the ball back to them with 2 minutes to go and no timeouts. We had to give our guys an opportunity to make plays. We were getting on top of them at certain points in that game. And Fernando was throwing great deep balls, and it was a great play.
We'll go here back corner. We'll take a couple more.
Coach Sammy Jacobs, Hoosier Huddle again. The middle 8 where you stopped them, they got the ball back after the field goal with about 2 minutes to go in the first half, and their first drive of the second half. How big was that to build momentum to say, hey, the offense could go now, score, and take the lead?
Yeah, we needed to stop them. I can't remember the exact sequence. They were moving the ball. We did stop them. I think the offense went down, put points. We've been really good at the end of the half, beginning of the third. That's also where the game turned last year in their favor when we dropped the punt and then they had the punt return for a touchdown. So it was quite a reversal, but, it was huge.
Let's go back corner. A couple more.
Yeah, hey, Kurt, Pete DePrimo, IU Athletics. Just the message you delivered at halftime. You're in the game 10-6. You'd made some mistakes, but what was the general message that halftime?
I kind of gathered them up right at the beginning of the end of the half, which I usually don't do, and just very calmly said, look, this is what we talked about. This is the kind of game we expected. They're going to make plays. We're going to make plays. And then, and then it was a longer halftime, 25 minutes, because of the championship. And so finally when I gathered the team 20 minutes later, before we went out, it was more like, okay, do we have what it takes to win a gut check physical game like this? This is going to be a test of our, our toughness and our persistence, and we proved that we did.
We'll go here and here, 2 more.
Kurt, Seth Tal, the Daily Hoosier. The game ends, the confetti's falling. You're able to watch your players celebrate this. Obviously, you have more football to play, but what goes through your mind watching your players celebrate this, and how special is it to see that for them?
I mean, you celebrate. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them and the coaches. And, I'm kind of a what's next kind of guy. That's the way I'm wired. So I'm thinking about where's Ryan Day? Okay, now where's Jeff Kaag? How many interviews do I got to do? And that kind of thing. I liked our preparation coming in this game. I liked our mindset. And, we had been here before. We hadn't been here before, but we'd been in a situation before against Oregon and prevailed. And,
Let's go Fort Wayne, Indy, and then we'll be good to go.
Dylan Sin from the Journal-Gazette in Fort Wayne. Yeah, Coach, can you take us through the 88-yard touchdown drive in the third quarter, just everything that went into that and how you guys were able to move down the field and take the lead there?
Okay, I'm going to have to when you get my age, your memory isn't quite as good. 88 yards, how many first down conversions? Is that the one right after them? Yeah, here we go. 7 plays, 88 yards. Okay. One minute. This is them going 88 yards. 12 plays, 70 yards. I can't. Here's what I'm going to say, okay? We ran the ball effectively when we needed to. I thought our backs ran really hard. The protection for the quarterback improved as the game went on. And we were able to get on top of them in some critical situations, whether it be inside or outside. And Fernando delivered dimes, and the receivers made some nice catches, and there were a couple PI calls. And there were some critical third and fourth down conversions made in that game. And, it was a battle of attrition for a while there. We had guys going out left and right, and we were trying to figure out, fill in personnel groupings and special teams at one point. It was that kind of game. I apologize, I don't remember every play.
Let's go, Zach. One more.
I guess just lastly, Kurt, you talked about sort of your reaction, what it meant to watch your players in those moments kind of immediately post-game. But did you ever have a moment for yourself right after the game, or when the confetti's falling, or when you're holding the silver football, when you just think about that moment in the context of your journey in coaching?
I think I'm going to have my moment when we finish this press conference.
I think we're finished. I will end on that. Thanks, Coach. Congratulations. This transcript from this will be...
All right. That was Curt Cignetti. That was the Hoosiers celebrating their first championship victory in the Big Ten championship game since the game started in 2011. It's also their first Big Ten title since 1968, when they won a share of the title. This is their first outright league title since 1945. Really impressive. Yeah, first Big Ten championship, 1967. I was off by a year. But in any case, Indiana making history tonight. Meanwhile, Ohio State losing for the first time this season. So now they head into the college football playoff coming off of a loss, much as they did last year when they lost to Michigan and went on to win the national championship. So what's up next for Ohio State? Well, they'll come back to Columbus, and then they'll await to see what the College Football Playoff Committee can come up with in terms of a 12-team playoff bracket. Ohio State and Indiana expected to both get first-round byes despite the loss to the Hoosiers. So we'll see where Ohio State lands in that bracket and where they'll end up, but likely that they'll still get that first-round bye and begin their playoff journey in the quarterfinals in one of the bowl games that will take place either on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So that is what's coming up. We will also hear from Ryan Day after the bracket is revealed, so you can look for that special edition of NBC4 Sports Extra with comments as it happens here on the free NBC4 Columbus streaming channel. For now, once again, Ohio State losing for the first time this year, 13-10 the final. Indiana is the Big Ten champions going into the college football playoff. I'm David DeGuzman. Thank you so much for joining us on this special edition of NBC4 Sports Extra. Until next time, have a good one.
thanks for watching. For more NBC4, download the NBC4 streaming app. You'll get free 24/7 local programming streamed straight to your living room. Just search NBC4 Columbus on your Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, or Samsung device.